Welcome everyone to another edition of Let the Brothers Speak. We're back again with some more therapy.
Therapy. Come on with it.
Yeah, we'll call it therapy.
I like that. I like
Call
that.
it therapy for you. All right. And the fellas are here.
What's going on, y'all? It's the Young Bull Migo back at it again.
How y'all doing? This is Mike Wells. Just trying to say hello to everybody. Thank y'all for the love on the videos that we've already pushed out. Hope that y'all share, like, and comment on every single one of them. We would definitely love to share with other people.
It's your boy Appleberry. Apple Juice got the saucepan. Good to see y'all. We back with another one for some of that therapy.
All right. All right. So there we go. So how was you all's week, man?
Oh man.
Anybody do anything or
I had a little bit of fun, but remember how we was having that conversation? I was like, women are they always talk about the table and I'm the roof. Some responsibilities of the roof came this week because my AC went out, y'all. One of my AC units, I got a 2-story, so I got the 2 AC units. So y'all know, pray for me as I deal with the responsibilities of being a roof.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And we in Texas,
so welcome to homeowner status.
Send 2 prayers for me, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Me, it was just a usual week. I did get a chance to go out and do some health stuff. Dentist. I try to preach everybody to at least see your dentist, see your doctor, because we as Black men especially like to avoid medical care. We don't want to hear a doctor tell us that we got something wrong, and let alone a dentist tell us that we got something wrong. So please, definitely work on your health care. That's important.
My week was pretty good. I pretty much was chilled out all week, got some work done, but Saturday was actually a little fun for me with all that rain because I just got a chance to stay in. I got a chance to hoop that morning about from like 9 to 11, and then when I got home it was like raining all day, so pretty cool experience because I just got to sit and chill. Nobody expected me to do anything, things of that nature. So finished up some of my work from a doctorate and just chilled out, man. So
let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. That's up. Well, me personally, work. Yeah, that rain we had, that at first it was cool, but then it just it started getting depressing after a while. So, but I was still enjoying just being in the house, So I was gonna try to cut the grass a couple days ago on like what day we get out of that rain? Saturday, Sunday? Saturday. Yeah, I was planning on cutting the grass Saturday when I got off work, and I was like, oh well, them plans done. Oh well, I can't do that. So
yeah,
that's why I got to look a little bit longer.
Oh man.
So, but yeah. But anyway, we are back. We are here again. We want to thank everyone for who's taking the time out to view us, our first 2 episodes, and we are here back putting together another one for you. We in the lab cooking. And what we getting into tonight?
Oh man, you got a couple topics, don't we? I want to say something about what he said, man, about that getting checked up with your doctor. I got to work on the other D, get more with my dental. Navy, you owe me a side tooth because they took mine out when I was in the Navy, bro, talking about it needed to go, and they never gave me a side tooth back. So U.S. Navy, y'all owe me a side tooth, but that getting checked up with the doctor though, that's a biggie. I've definitely become a person who's way more aware. Like if I cough, I hit up my doctor on they got the portals now. I say, hey, I cough. Do you think I should come in? He be like, I'm pretty sure you all right, but just in case, set up a virtual. So definitely, y'all double back into what you said, man. Y'all check up on yourself, man, because I think they say like for especially in now for Black men, we're starting to realize that we should get checked earlier for like the prostate and
because it used to be 50.
Man, they talking about it in the 30s.
About 40 years old.
I heard one person say like 35.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the DJs that I knew in Baltimore, God bless his soul, he was 30 years old when he passed away from prostate cancer. So I'm all for, if you know that you have cancer in your family, look, Make sure that you're checking your health, because we are dying younger and younger, and it's not always because of environmental things. It's sometimes in the food that we're eating. And I'm learning to eat better, eat cleaner, eat healthier, right? I'm gonna tell you, yes, it is expensive to eat organic, but eat healthier. That's all I'm saying. Don't eat the Twinkies, don't eat the hot dogs. You know, do better.
I'm in that transition now, giving up starting to limit my red meat, and I'm basically giving up pork. Y'all know us from the South, giving up pork. It's so many things you do with that hog.
Just imagine it as a Black Latino, you know, Cuban, Puerto Rican.
That's all y'all eat.
Diet.
That's all y'all eat. So
every
man,
piece of it. Yeah, I think you all hit the nail right on the head about us, you know, taking care of ourselves. I think about 5 years ago, I made a point to make sure that I'm doing that, you know, getting my regular visits as it relates to medical. Also going to the dentist twice a month, not a month, sorry, a year. And also get my eyes checked up, you know,
That's
just
what I need
making
to do
sure
a little bit better with.
Yeah. And something that happened, I went to the eye doctor. It's like, your vision got better. I was like,
mine too.
What the world?
You went down a prescription or two? That's what he told
like,
me.
How my
It's
vision
probably
get
because
better?
of eating healthier.
Possibly, you know, something of that nature. But yeah, man, when we are taking care of ourselves, I think we are able to give more.
That's good. You got it ready, brother?
Well, yeah. I was pulling that up because I really wanted to talk about something that you and I definitely could understand with as being the single fathers at times. Me, I was actually the single father. I did not have the mother around at the time. So I remember trying to go to work, and I'm sitting there knocking on the child care provider's door, and she's not answering. So I'm now calling to my job and saying, hey, I'm going to be late. And elementary schools don't start exactly early in the morning like high school. High schools would be like 6:45. You know, elementary schools at 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. So when this representative, Katie Porter, started talking about universal health care. Now, my child is grown. She's 21. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I feel that pain, not only that, you know, single parents have to deal with, even single mothers, because as a man, I took on a responsibility that most men don't take on. So when she said universal child care, could you just imagine how that could help a lot of people? How much it could save a lot of households, but also provide for kids. Because if there's a single parent and they're trying to go to work, they got to dig in their pocket to get that out. That's money that's taken out of their pocket to take care of child care. Now, I remember when I was doing it was $225 a week. So I can just imagine what it is now. Like I said, my daughter's 21 years old. So I feel for these single moms and single dads that are trying to work their butt off and really not making the wages that we should, because it seems as though the politicians care more about CEOs getting paid than their employees getting paid. But if we could have something where you can put back into these parents that are trying to take care of their kids and trying to still work a job and provide, and saying, hey, I can now do the things that I need to do, give my kids the food necessary, whatever it is that's going to help them, you know, develop the right way, then I'm all for it. I'll take my tax dollars any day and pay for that than to pay for bombs to go to Ukraine or even Israel. I don't care. I don't want to spend my money on helping somebody else destroy people than I am to take care of the people that are trying to help their own families.
And you know what? I agree with you there. And I think I also believe, like, as far as we need better as far as the insurance we have to pay for medical, I think stuff like that should be free. But in regards to childcare and daycare, like, there should definitely be a better it should be better. Like, it shouldn't cost, you shouldn't be paying rent. And it's not that I don't think that the people that are in that field that take care of the kids for you, that they shouldn't be paid well. But like I say, like, for the people that or the single mother, the single father, or the people that may not, or it may be a 2-parent household, and they might not just be blessed with a job, because as much as they say jobs are booming here in Texas, it's only in certain avenues. That's the part that they don't tell y'all.
Yeah.
And that's just me to try and tell y'all Californians to stay away. But but you know, to get them, man, look, we fool. But I agree, man. Something needs to be done more, because, well, in my instance, I'm lucky as far as my daughter having a great mother. We're not together, but we're now at a point where we're good. We're very good at co-parenting, and being that my daughter lives with her mom in Florida and I'm in Texas, I get the full avenue and understanding of it come the summer, because I have her for the entire summer. And thankfully, I have certain people in my family, like my mom, my aunt, and some cousins that, you know, the shift we work. So with how early I have to be at work, they're willing to get up and answer their door and watch baby girl for me while I go to work. But I can't imagine what that would be like for somebody who you have to.
Yeah, they're on their own and
they're on their own.
Their support
yeah,
system.
like, because even with that, it's still hard just being a single father. So if I would have had to find somebody, it's not only just finding someone to watch your kid, it's trusting this company because of the horror stories you hear.
Yeah.
And then it's paying for it. And then it's also the fear of, oh, what if they cancel work one day? Or what if baby girl is sick and then the daycare isn't accepting her, but my boss isn't also letting me off work? So like, I do think, like, and my job may not do it, but something in that certain places in the military did was they had daycare centers on base.
Yeah.
Like, some of these places can, but choose not to, could possibly afford to have a daycare. And if they can't, why can't the government? Because if we have money to send off billions to a country where we don't want to be involved in their war, and it's not that I'm against them, but we have our own battles we got to fight. If we can fund that, why can't we fund these companies and say that money that we're funding you, or this write-off that we're giving you, is solely for the purpose of you building a daycare for people who have kids that need that help, that can't afford the daycare, or that need that help because they can't find a sitter. So, man, I definitely think it should be better, bro.
I know that college in Baltimore that I was going to while we were actually I would say laid off. It wasn't laid off. We had this thing called a job bank, and some of the people that were there, they had the students that were actually there, they had a daycare type thing for them, but they were also teaching child development.
Yeah.
So it allowed these students to bring their kids to school and get free daycare. And so it was awesome.
Yeah, it aligned. A couple of things I hear you all talking about, and I just want to put I guess not a different perspective, but I guess a different spin on it, if that makes sense. So I always look at things from the perspective of what can we do to make those things better, right? Because if we look at just the history of the government, they've been known to take care of themselves and not necessarily us, right? So it's this African phrase, and I may have said it, but it's called Ubuntu. It means I am because we are, right? So we have to start doing things that's going to take care of us, right? One of the things that we do at my job, especially like if we have like a night of awards and stuff of that nature, is that we get people to volunteer to take care of the kids for the parents that's coming in, like smaller kids and things of that nature. And we actually pay them to do that, right?
Church does something.
We do those things at church and things of that nature. But where the breakdown in communication comes is there's no communication, right? We'll say, like, for instance, we need universal healthcare. We need universal childcare. But there's only a set of people talking it over here, and you got somebody else aligned with something else over here, and we're not all getting to the table. Where I've always seen the most progress is when we all sit down and we all iron out our differences, and then we say, okay, what's going to be the best thing for all of us, right? But when you get a group of people that's over here just talking and over here just talking, then you get things that's disjointed, right? Whether that's education, whether that's healthcare, whether that's military, whatever it is, because people are talking in different fashions in different sects. So do we need those things? Yes, but I think it's a coming to the table it needs to happen, if that makes sense.
So basically, in a way, man, some of us just, hey, we realize what we got as far as coming from the government. So how about, rather than waiting on them to show us they're going to do something, how about we do something in a way?
Right. Yeah. And use some of these tax loopholes to keep some of our money so we can do some of those things. Right. If that's starting a business and things of that nature, so you can write some things off and keep a little bit more at home. So then we can build our own daycares. We can build our own community centers where our kids can go out to school. Cause that's a real big thing. Like these teenagers don't have anywhere to go after school. I had a community center that I could go to and at least, go there, play ball and things of that nature. They have nowhere they can go to, not for free. Right. They can't get into those places without $25 a month. And you're telling me a 15-year-old got $25 a month, or his parents going to pay for that? And if he doesn't live in an affluent neighborhood, he's not going to be able to do those things, or she's not going to be able to do those things. So
that's the funny thing about the crazy history of the Black Panther Party, because the Black Panther Party was what did a lot of those social programs for our community. And then, of course, they got the negative spin through the government and things, which caused it to turn into, oh, they were a good organization in our community, to, oh, they're a bad organization for everybody. And a lot of the programs that the Black Panthers actually created are still used today, but now they're offered by the government.
Right. So feeding people, right. Getting people off drugs, like they were doing those things, right. They were giving people soft skills to be able to get jobs, things of that nature. As you just mentioned, childcare. They were doing those things. Education, right? Also self-defense, like teaching those basic things you need, right? So again, like I say, when it's a coming together, I think the scripture says, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, right? If we get together, right? No matter who that is, if we get together, man, the possibilities are limitless. Absolutely. Anything that we can think of, we can do it, right? Because we're all on the same page. I'll leave you with this. I'm a big believer in energy, right?
Yeah.
And we can kind of see this as this show is developing as well. But when 2 like energies get together, like energies, they double in size.
Synergy.
Right? Synergy. But when you get a negative and positive, what happens?
They cancel each other out.
Cancel each other out. So if we're coming together with the same energy, the same frequency and things of that nature, there's no limit.
So basically, let's build back up our communities.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm going to take that out, sir.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I had a friend of mine, he did on one of my past podcasts, he had this idea, and the name of that show was called Living Next Door to Each Other. And he broke it down to, I have to have him on so he can bring that on one day. He'll have to be on through Zoom or something, but because he lives in Atlanta. But he said something to the fact of, if all of us lived in one concentrated area in the country, we could take over this country if everybody lived next door to each other. But I'm probably jacking it up the way he said it, but my question to him was, and this is one question that a couple other people had, was where you just said we all come together, right? Black folk can't come together to save their life.
That's the honest truth.
Well, I get what you're saying, but I think also we've seen that perpetuated over and over again, right? We see the media perpetuate that over and over again. So I've come together with Black folks and we've done some amazing things. I give you one. When I was in 12th grade, my high school has not won a championship since I can remember, probably since my mom was in school, right? And so my goal was to win a championship in something before we leave, right? Played football, didn't work out, right? Played basketball, right? Got kind of close, but didn't work out. Played baseball, and when we played baseball, we actually made it to the playoffs, but the principal would not pay for the bus for us to go to the playoffs, which is kind of crazy, right? And then, so one of my teammates from baseball was like, come on over here and run track. I seen the whole community, because we were just natural athletes. The whole community started getting behind us because we was winning those track meets. They started taking us to the track meets. When we went to state and won the championship, they drove us because we didn't have funding from the school.
Mm.
They drove us down there, right? Now, that's just sports, right? And I'm not trying to belittle sports because I've done it all my life and it helped pave my way through school and things of that nature. But that's just sports, right? Because they got behind the ideal of young Black men doing something positive and bringing a championship back to their neighborhood, right? I've seen plenty of neighborhoods. This neighborhood in Memphis called Orange Mound. They get behind everything that people are doing in that particular community. So it just takes some strong people to start that out and not being compromising in their principles and in their integrity, right? But you got to have the right people doing that. Not saying you got to be perfect, right? Because you're going to fall, you're going to make mistakes. But I need my brother to hold me accountable, right?
Mhm.
I need my brother to hold me accountable. I need my sister to hold me accountable. When I fall, I need you to get that hand and get me back up, right? So I'm going to say this. While the statement that you made is true, I'm just going to refuse not to believe that anymore. And I'm going to do all I can do to make sure that we can get that next door attitude.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna see the confirmation in there because I've been going back and forth in my head. I live in a nicer community, still in Fort Worth, and you know how you got the Dallas, Fort Worth, the this is this, this is that, and I'm like, there's so much beautiful stuff about where I'm from that I think I'll say, man, it's a very home vibe. Part of me wants to move further out because I just want land and I want horses. But there's that other part of me that I'll say in the last 2 years that have been like, why not just build back up the hood where we're from and make it a better community? So I think conversations like this make it to where, because I think a lot of people in life, when we do get a little bit of change, it's just we want better for ourselves, and rather than us just build up where we at, it's easier to just go to a nicer neighborhood. And it's not even you just trying to let's say whitewash or whatever you want to call it. It's just, hey, it's easier that way. So man, I'm gonna say that, man, everybody stay tuned, not just for me, but stay tuned to those people around you, because maybe it might be time for us to build back our hoods, our neighborhoods, our communities, because like you say, man, a lot of people say like the best business is the Black business. We're the most influential, and then we spend the most money on everybody else but ourselves. So, man, if we was to start just doubling down, like you saying, because honestly, there was I can't remember which school it was, but I don't know if it was and I went to OD Wide in Fort Worth. There was a school, I don't know if it was last year or the year prior, that they were making the playoffs and it wasn't getting picked up, and we're not, and a lot of schools here aren't used to really going deep in, and it was a similar issue where like they didn't have buses for them, so parents and them had came together and got them a chartered bus, man. So I think right now, man, yeah, we should really stop focusing, because that is the truth though, what you said about like it is hard for us to get out of that, and I'm gonna just include myself, it's hard for us to get out of our selfish ways. So we really got to.
I mean, you also got to think about it as the history of being ingrained.
Yeah.
To hate ourselves.
Yeah.
You're talking almost 500 years of us hating ourselves.
And then what he said, when you told us about, they say if they can't read at this grade level, that it said that they're going to go to jail. And then I had the idea of, well, we have a tendency to, because we heard that, we accept that as true.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing I think is, we hear that we're selfish. So because I think everybody else selfish, I'm just going to do what's best for me and mine.
It's the same thing as that movie Animal. If you put something in a cage,
Yeah.
you put a human being in a cage,
Yeah.
you treat him like an animal for years. You tell him that he's lesser than.
Mhm.
Don't expect when you let the cage open that what you've treated as an animal and acted as much as an animal should be, that he's not going to come out as the animal.
True.
So we've been, like I said, we've been told that we're lesser than. for
Definitely.
centuries. But then you find out you have movies like Hidden Figures, where
Right.
you find out that it was a group of black women that got a man to the moon and back.
Mm.
Then you start looking at history. Yeah, Thomas Edison sort of discovered electricity, but he did not honestly make the light bulb. He made the bulb, but he didn't make the filament.
Right.
So it's those things. If you look at Black history overall, if they actually taught it,
If they knew to, rather than try
then
and take it
they
out.
would say that, hey, you know what? These people are actually putting in a lot
Yeah.
of work for this thing. I can guarantee you Eli Whitney did not create the cotton gin. He just patented the cotton gin. And it was a black man that said, hey, I'm tired of picking the seeds out of cotton.
Right.
Hey, and then for some of the youth that may not know, Obama is only technically the first black president of the entire United States.
Absolutely.
But I can't remember his name exactly. But if you go look back when we were actually the 13 colonies, there was another black man that was
I think
actually
it's John
in-
Henson or something like that.
Yeah.
John Henson.
Yeah, he was in that same type of leadership position. So, and then I think another thing also is us as people, man, and I'm not going to say it's all of us. Sometimes you just got to pay it forward. Like you may not be alive to see the community, your hood become the new Black Wall Street. You might,
Absolutely.
and that's okay, because it's okay, because like if you're a spiritual person, you're looking down on what you can look down on what you would help invest in and you help put a foundation for. And what if it happens for just the next generation, like your kids? What if it doesn't take forever? But don't think because it takes forever that you don't want to put in that groundwork, because if nobody ever put in the groundwork, it never becomes anything.
My boy Reggie graduated from my high school, went on college, played in NFL.
Mhm.
And he took it upon himself to come back to my high school and coach football. But he took a lot of things from Coach Pastor, Coach Buck Heister. They wanted to make sure that when we left out of there, we were men. They weren't training us to be boys. That's one thing I can say about organized sports. If you have a good coach, y'all need to get a man some love.
Absolutely.
Pat him on the back, get him a gift card for a meal or something like that, because he's raising your boy to be a man, where a lot of times a lot of men are not doing that for their own boys. So, Reggie, make sure that those kids are doing well in school. They also excel in sports. They understand that it's a community thing. It's not I won the championship, but we won
it. Absolutely.
So community is a key thing. And that's one thing I loved about organized sports, is that, whether it was track and field, whether it was football, I was not a basketball player. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I was not a basketball player. I was good at 3 points because ball handling skills were terrible. I'm going to say that right now. If I was on the outside,
Catch and shoot.
I was on the outside
Thomas.
and you threw it my direction, I guarantee I could shoot. I could hit it. But trying to take it to the hole, oh no,
Okay.
that was.
Yeah. I kind of grew up in in my opinion, like in a utopia, right?
Mm.
When I grow up with literally about 100 cousins, right? 7 uncles, 2 aunts, and my mom on that particular street. Then I got my dad's side, 3 aunts and him. And then my granddaddy had some more kids, which was about 4 more kids, right? So all of these people were pretty much always in my life, because I stayed on the street where everybody came from, which is called Park Road. We didn't know we were poor or anything of that nature, right? We took care of each other.
That was a
Right.
joy when you don't realize.
Right.
that
You
you're
don't even realize it, right? Everybody ate until
Mhm.
they was full. Whether it was the neighborhood kids, they end up being your cousins or your brothers and things of that nature. Every adult ate. You respected everybody. And by having all these people that you had to interact with, you learn to be able to conversate and hold your own in any situation, right? Because you're going to get all the different type of personalities when you're talking about 100 people. right? On a day-to-day basis. So anytime anybody would come, like even right now, if I was to take you on Park Road, you'd be like, oh, I'm good here. Like you're gonna be left there and you'll be fine, right? Because all we do is show each other love, right? Now it's all different types of love. There's good love, there's tough love, there's funny love, there's all of that, right? You're gonna get chastised.
Yeah.
Anybody there that's doing something wrong, you're gonna be told you're wrong. It doesn't matter. Like whether you're the oldest, the youngest, it doesn't matter. But we're gonna have a good time, right? And we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be clean fun. But also, if any outsiders come and try to do something, it's gonna be some fun another way, if you know what I mean.
The whole family coming.
The whole family coming, right? But that's just one family, right? So anytime I bring anybody else in, right, they're like, man, I love the way this feel. I like the way this feel.
Yeah.
We should be like this, like as a community. Yeah, we can. Because that's all I ever saw. Well, that's how I took it. That's my perception. Now, I'm sure maybe my other family members may look at it a little bit different. But the majority of the ones I talked to, they believed it the same way I did, right? They believe that because of our upbringing, and how we were raised to be family, no matter what, to love, no matter what this person has done, this, that, and the third. However, if you do mess up, we're here to help you, but we also going to tell you where you messed up at, and hopefully you get better, right? So, as you were saying, this guy coming back, sometimes you do have to go somewhere and get the knowledge, but bring it back home, right? Come on, bring it back home, because when you bring it back home, it helps, right? But also when you're doing that, bring it back home, it also is a period in which that you have to learn how to disseminate that information, because you got to understand what I'm bringing it back to. Right? I got to understand what I'm bringing it back to. So as you saying, I got to pay this forward, right? So I can be able to see it maybe not 10 years, but 20 years down the line. But if I think it in my mind, I already saw it. That's the type of person I am. I already see what it's going to look like. So I need to feed this person. I need to feed this person, not just with, physical food, but mental food, spiritual, uplifting their soul, talking to them about who they can be. What do I see for you? Digging real deep into it. So that's why I work with kids, man, because I've always, been poured into myself. Yep.
So basically, we really got to get out of this competitive mindset and just get back into a community mindset. Yeah. And
I could agree with that. I definitely. I tend to be a solitary person. I like to go out, kayak, be by myself. But I also I'm an extrovert. So I love people. I love meeting new people. I've never met a stranger. That's one thing that I can say I honestly got from my mama. My mama I think she don't ever meet a stranger. But guess what? It helps that as a community, my family, everybody's accepted. You want to come over for Thanksgiving dinner? We got food. Come on. They'll invite everybody. So I would bring my friends over and they eat. We cook for 4th of July. Come on, eat. Did you eat? They want to make sure. So I understand that community because my grandmother had 11 kids.
Yeah.
bless her.
So we had a community, and that street that she lived on, almost everybody was family. Almost everybody. Was family.
Everybody.
That's what's up. Okay. I think, man, we can hit that right on the head.
Absolutely. What's the next topic? I think you was talking about a little bit earlier about this
Plan A and Plan B.
Oh.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Let's into the matrix now.
All right.
Red pill, blue pill. Let's go.
One of the things that was brought up is, whether or not women could be happy with person A or person B. So it was a video where this gentleman asked women, be honest. Could you take a guy that worked a 9 to 5, made a decent living, and was available for you whenever you needed it, but he did not make the money that you really wanted him to make? Or you can have guy B that's working 12, 16 hours a day. He's making all the money, but he's working 6 days a week. And on his 7th day where he is free, he don't want to have nothing to do with nobody other than rest and sleep. See, I know from having a lot of female cousins and things of that nature, you know, that women have two choices of men they want. Now, a lot of women say that they want guy A, but they're really seeking for guy A to be more like guy B until guy B turns out to be, hey, I don't have no time for you. Then they want guy A back.
Yeah.
So I run into that conversation a lot, you know, and I even talk to my daughters on this, you know, you trying to swing for the home run to get the guy to make all that great money, but you have to understand that sometimes that guy that's making the great money don't have time for you. And if he's making the great money and he has the time and he ain't making time for you, who you making time for?
Yeah.
See, that's that guy C that nobody wants to talk about. But guy A or guy B is what you basically run into 90% of the time.
Yeah. And then they want to change it. Like, and we're not saying, ladies, don't try and make this about a guy that's talking about going 50-50. We're talking about a guy that basically, we're talking about your average, say a good mechanic, electrician, assembly line worker, you know, them steel jobs that are needed that can basically take care of 70 to 80%. And then they want to be like, well, I'm going to invest in him. No, because those type of people are still needed. Those plumbers are still needed, and those are still decent paying jobs. The issue isn't his income. The issue is what you're demanding now. As time goes on, I feel like women upgrade what they want in life. Like, oh, now we got to travel. You want to travel and you barely speak English right, let alone you don't know Spanish. But they want to demand that he can do X, Y, Z. And then they also they understand, but they don't implement it when they want this guy to do all this, that they understand of what the economy is calling for as far as financial and all of this. And then they love to bring it to argument. Well, if I'm going to work, do I still got to cook and clean? Well, do you still want him to get up under your car, take your car to get car wash? Do you still want him to cut the grass? Because it's only, not all women, but it's only in that case do women use that argument as if they're the only people that will do something at the house. Because I know men that do all the majority of the providing, and then there are times where, let's say we want to get on a game, or me, I want to go on my bike to ride with some of my friends, and be like, nah, bro, my wife is doing XYZ, so I got the kids. Now, this is also the same man who does basically majority of the providing. So some of these women are, you're saying, well, I got to do XYZ. You have help. You maybe do it the majority of the time, but your man that works when you need that time off still gives you that time off. And for anybody saying that, well, that's not the case in my situation, well, then you wasn't patient enough and waited on a person that could. So a lot of times I hate that they try and change it. Like, you can be very satisfied with an A when you stop trying to look at the worldly things and look at the person you're with.
It's a thing of being content. See, we as guys are happy being content. And I'm gonna tell you, almost any guy can be content in a 1-bedroom apartment in any neighborhood and be like, okay, I'm good.
And the thing that made you happy when you was in high school is probably the thing, you just made a little bit more money, and you just you like bicycles when you were little.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you like motorcycles.
Yeah.
You like playing games when you were little. Now you like a good game night, or hey, the game on, the fight is on.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things we like. Now you do got some men who like this upper scale stuff, and like traveling is cool every so often. But as far as I believe, most men, we are very easily satisfied. Be like, yeah, my wife loved me. She made my favorite. She made my baked chicken today.
Yeah.
My baby loved me. So it's like we are very simple. So like, stop letting the world take you away from, like, these are actually the good valued men, because these are the fathers.
Yeah. I would say for me, and I'm just going to use me for an example. I've been A and B. I guess that would be apropos, if that makes sense, because A and B Appleberry, you know.
I was going to say, break it down for me, bro. Break it down.
But I've been A and B. I've been that person, you know, that just had a decent job and things of that nature. And then I have graduated to a different level, if that makes sense. You got to understand this, and I think you mentioned this a little bit earlier. When you have somebody that is ambitious and they're chasing their dreams and things of that nature, there's going to be limited time, right? And so what I commend my wife at is like, since when I was A, now I'm AB, if that makes it put it together. She's always been one of those people that's backed me in whatever I do, if that makes sense. So if I want to go to the moon right now, she's gonna be like, how can we go to the moon? Right. So I haven't had that because when I was single, I wasn't looking for the A or B, and really probably didn't have no money when I was single, if that makes sense, because I played basketball all the time. I was pursuing basketball at a high level, tried out for a couple of teams and things of that nature. But I played basketball probably clean up to like 25, 26, like professionally or in college, if that makes sense. So I was just pursuing that. And so when I guess you would say, got into the other world, if that makes sense, and started making some money, I started off making $12,000 a year in Mississippi, right? And was paying a car note and paying rent. Don't know how I was doing it right now. Saying that, then I went to 24,000, right? Then I went to 36,000, right? But I had this thought, right? But I do see people looking at that A and that B man, right? When you're talking about from a woman perspective. And my thing is this, is that while she doesn't have to settle this, that, and the other, I just say, just be very clear with your intentions, right? If you're clear with your intentions and up front, now that person can make a choice.
Yeah.
Right. And I tell the man as well to be clear with your intentions as well. Right. And when you're clear, you get an understanding. Right. And the best thing I think that two people can get is an understanding. And once you have an understanding, then you can know if you've been a fool or not. Right. You can know if you're going to continue to perpetuate and make those choices. Or you can know that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and go left. Or I know this is just what it is at this particular point. I close my piece with this is that I'm always one of those people is like, what am I doing in this particular incident to make it either right or wrong? I don't care what the other person's doing. For instance, if me and you got into it right now, when I went home and say, what did I say to Mike? To make him do that. That's just me. You see what I'm saying?
I was just talking something similar to a friend yesterday, talking about closure.
You
know, I don't, as a man, I don't need closure out of anything. I don't need for somebody to tell me what I did wrong and where they felt on this. I'm going to look at myself and say, okay, this is what I did wrong. This is what I need to fix. Because when it all comes down to it,
come on,
you can paint stripes on a leopard, but that don't make it a tiger. So if you want to call that person the bad person, okay, sometimes in your narcissism, and I'm gonna say it, narcissism,
and all of us get it sometimes, you know.
You have to say, where did I go wrong in this? Where did I fail in this thing? Because I don't care. We can talk about Jordan. Jordan was probably one of the best basketball players alive, but he didn't win a championship without the other four guys.
Not at all.
True.
Not at all.
And then what about just this perspective? Just because you have to pick between A and B doesn't make one negative.
Right.
No.
One is just maybe your cup of tea.
There you go.
And one isn't. Or ask yourself, am I just being unrealistic in what I want? But just because you have this, say, a 9 to 5, and you got the one who just he makes his hours whenever and he makes this much more money, it doesn't make one negative.
Right.
Don't let society, the internet, or what you see your friend got, don't make that make you look down on the person. And that goes both ways. Like, don't make that look at him like, oh no, girl, he a bum. And fellas, don't worry about like what your friends might think. Like, it doesn't make it negative because of what society thinks. I think that's the point where when people got to be honest with themselves, but like, yo, how does this align with what I really want? Not only what I want, because sometimes everybody wants something, and then when you got it, you realize you didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, that's that cereal box aisle mentality.
You
find the prettiest box, it's gonna be Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it has no nutritional value. And I guarantee you, if you ate either one of them cereals for the next 30 days, that's all you ate. Man, your stomach's gonna be tore up.
I know there's been plenty of times I know growing up, sometimes you get that gift and you really wanted something else, and then they give you this gift and the look on your face.
Yep.
I mean, your mom and them having that talk with you about, oh, you ungrateful, and getting on you,
Right.
and then you give it a couple of days, and then next you loving that gift, you playing with it every day. Like
Mhm.
sometimes, man, look,
That perspective, right?
sometimes you need that time with it. Like you don't need the world's point of view on it. You gotta see it for what it is, because if you don't look at it for what it is, you're missing the value in that thing.
And just to add on what you're saying, you also need those people around you can do what your parents did in that situation, right? Until you get this perspective, right? You need those real friends that can say, you need to get a grip on this. Do you know
Like,
what you're talking about?
Mhm.
Like, are you really gonna mess that up? Like, are you really gonna walk down that particular
Well,
street?
It's the same thing as I gave my daughter my Samsung. She wanted an iPhone, right? Because all her friends had iPhone because that's status. And me working with music and things like that, I'm gonna tell you, iPhones are great if you in the recording business, because you can control most of the soundboards and stuff like that because they're Pro Tools or Logic controlled. But when it comes to the day-to-day functions, what I realized when that solar eclipse came out and I was taking pictures of the solar eclipse, and my friends were like, "Oh, send me that picture." All had iPhones. So
I got that too.
so
Yeah.
I'm like, iPhone is great for FaceTime. If you want to FaceTime everybody in the world, go ahead, have
Yeah.
fun at it. If you want to be in the music industry and you want to control the soundboards and control the mix in your ear, great. But if you're looking for the day-to-day, for me, I'm like, okay, I'm not up there on the stage anymore, so I don't have to worry about
Right.
that.
I'll give you an example in the music business. Like you said, most people in the business, when they're recording something, they're using Pro Tools, right? And I've heard people like music industry standard, Pro Tools, Pro Tools, Pro Tools. Well, when I started recording music, I used Cubase,
Yeah.
right? And I
I
always
was
get
Ableton.
this, I
Ableton.
always get this question. How do you get your mixes to sound so good?
Mm.
Right? And I tell them what I'm using. I'm like, I use Cubase, right? It's like, you're not using Logic, you're not using Pro Tools. I was like, no. And like, you need to switch over. No, I don't.
Mhm.
Like, because this is what I know how to use. This is how I know how to make that sound come out. I know how to work this, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of the times we got something that we know how to work, but we want something better,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
Just because it's
Everybody
the industry
else.
standard.
Everybody
Just
else uses it.
because the world is
Mhm.
saying this. And I know this works,
Mhm.
right? I know this works. I know it gives me the point A to point B. And then
Yeah.
I go get that iPhone, or I go get that Samsung, or I go get Pro Tools, and I mess the whole thing up,
Because that's
right?
I had a friend. He was like, he said, when I told him I was messing with Ableton, he's like, "Oh man, that's not the industry standard." I said, "Hold up." I said, "Can you do this?" And I literally beatboxed out a beat, and then I went from wave to MIDI, and then tweaked it. He was like, "Yo," I said, "But guess what? I can't play the keys if my life depended on it." I started humming out, singing out, whistling out certain things, and then he was like, "That does that?" I said, "Yeah, I can turn it to any instrument." So I turned it from a guitar to a
Yep.
saxophone. He was
That
like,
MIDI, yep.
then he was like, hold up, I'm gonna have to get this. But he was a Pro Tools person, and I said, there's things that you can have with one thing that you can't have with another thing. And I said, you just have to learn to understand that not everything's the best thing in the world. Is what is best for you.
There you go.
Exactly.
Because I guarantee you, my knees are not good for a Corvette. I would love to have a Corvette, but I'd be crawling out that thing, rolling out there, talking about I'm falling and I can't get up.
Amen. Same here. Same here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically what I'm getting from this, I gotta come with a quote because he always making quotes.
Mhm.
And this
Come on with
this
it.
is gonna be a Migo original.
Original.
With picking between plan A and plan B, don't always choose plan B, because sometimes you're avoiding the best life that you could have had.
Yeah.
There
Absolutely.
you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you like that one?
Come on with it,
yeah,
Migo.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Well,
that.
you know what? I would also, I'm a kind of play devil's advocate here.
Come on
Let's
with
go.
it.
Let's go.
A lot of y'all just ungrateful. No, let me stop.
Hey.
No, but No, but seriously though, a lot of women they wanted they to make them choose A and B and everything. That's cool, but I've had a lot of these conversations with and I've heard a lot of these conversations, and to me, I think a lot of the women today are. I'm not gonna say women. A lot of the girls today are unrealistic.
Mm.
When you talked about being unrealistic, yes, a lot of them are unrealistic. They are caught up in this, I guess, culture, what they see on TV and the internet and everything that they want a man to pay for everything and do this and that. And all they want to do is just sit at home and eat bonbons and watch TV and just travel and shop. But and I've heard them say the thing of whereas, well, my granddaddy took care of my grandmama for X amount of years. My grandmama never had to work. You forget that was probably during 1930 something, 1940 something, and the cost of living was a whole lot cheaper.
Whole lot, Steve. I'm gonna just and as well. You don't know what grandmama had to do to get that.
Exactly.
Man.
You don't know what grandmama had to do to
When
do
you hear
that.
them grandma stories, you be like, Granny, you dealt with all of that?
Right. Yeah. Grandma went through hell just to get that. just to get that. But still, the same thing is though. Like I said, the cost of living was not as much then. Now, cost of living has gone up, but our pay hasn't. They forget that. They forget that pay hasn't. So nowadays you need a 2-person income, just to pay rent, but just to buy groceries. I
don't think women looking at the mathematics of it either. And it's not saying some women that is the life you're supposed to live. Live it, boo boo. Ain't nobody trying to tell you every woman in the woman's eyes. What we're saying is not settle. We don't see that selling, but a lot of women, we're not telling y'all to settle. But all I'm saying is if everybody is owning their own business, who's the customer?
That part.
If everybody is the president, well, who's the body of people? If everybody's the CEO, well, who's the everyday worker that's working the 9 to 5 for your company? If everybody wants to be CEO, this is an ecosystem and a community as far as relationships, as far as everything that goes. You're gonna need the people buying. You're gonna need the people selling. You're gonna need the people over it and the people that's under it. Like, we just gotta be realistic, but stop going off of what everybody else has. Stop going off of what you see. Stop going off of because, well, this girl is trending on TikTok and she has this many followers and she's always traveling. Baby girl, you didn't even want it until you seen somebody else do it. Well, now, some people do get inspired that way, but ask yourself, do you really want that for yourself? Because you want to take in that experience of, say, traveling and what all that entails, or do you want it just because it looks nice? And that's fine too, but let's just be realistic at some point.
Well, I think it also goes down to the fact that everybody wants things instantly. They want that microwave lifestyle. Yeah. So
minute rice.
You don't know how hard, for instance, Appleberry had to work to get to be very well in sports, and then go off to college and work his butt off to study, to go now working to get his doctorate. You don't know what I had to go through to get myself out of financial situations, to get myself to a situation that I can afford the lifestyle that I have. But you want my lifestyle, right?
You want the other side of through.
Yeah. You want B, but you ain't understand that I was A for the longest time until I became B.
Yeah.
Now I could give up B right now, and my wife would be happy with A. Right. But she knows that I'm only working B because I don't want her to have to work A or B.
Man, look, I've learned, and even though, like I said, I'm pursuing a better career now, I don't want to be the richest man, because even with the job I've had now, and it is a great paying job, I realize what comes with making more money. So I don't know if I want to be I don't know if I want Trump money, Rich Paul and LeBron James money, because it's different problems that come when you come with every
Different
level.
problems.
And a lot of y'all want this stuff, but I'm sorry, some of y'all ain't been out. I don't know if it's the same for the other states, but some of y'all ain't never been out of this 12% bracket yet. Some of y'all ain't been in this 22% bracket, and I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You mean that Uncle Sam is taking a huge chunk of
Yeah,
your money?
yeah, man. Say and then you
And
know
who's he giving
and
it to?
I don't know, cause I want to know, cause I'm hit on that 22% bracket, and then I also still pay the CS, aka child support,
Mhm.
and I don't that don't bother me, but also I can't claim my daughter, so it's like, look, y'all want, sometimes y'all want this, y'all don't know what come with it, and that's just on a really small scale. But I'm just saying that at every level, it's something you gotta pay. You gotta pay to make money.
Right. It's a price to pay on every level, right?
Man, say.
So you can get your man there with you, or you can get him away sometimes, or you can get him away a lot of the times. Like myself, I do a lot of traveling just based on my job, based on my program that I'm in, and also based on my small business, my entertainment company. So I'm always traveling, right? I'm moving here and there. So I have to, like, sometimes, hey, let's go try to do this together while I'm doing this, right?
That's what I did on Friday. My wife was like, babe, she sent me a text, and that was funny because I was thinking it. She said, babe, I want to go to the movies and go out and eat on Friday. And I was like, yeah, sure. That's what I was thinking myself. Man, did I have a great time though?
Right. Yeah, but a lot of things come with it. So whether that's A or B, I mean, you're doing some trading out there, right? So again, it comes back to those conversations and choices, right? What are we actually wanting for ourselves? Sitting down, having that talk, not only with the person that I'm trying to become, I guess you would say, one with, but am I having these honest conversations with myself?
Yeah.
Right? Being realistic, as you were talking about, brother. Are we being realistic in what we want and what we need in our life? Because in my opinion, as you said a little bit earlier about the choice between the A and B, there's no good nor bad. Just like our feelings, we just got to learn how to sit in them and go through them. And then once we go through them, then make our choice, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I think everything that us as human beings do is all about the choices. I think we are a result of the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
I say that again. We're a result of the choices we make on a day-to-day basis. And wherever you're at right now in your life is because of the choices that you have made, good, bad, or indifferent, even if you want to look at it good, bad, or indifferent. But we are a result of the choices that we make. As you talked about the brother that came from your high school. Guess what? Y'all came from the same high school.
Mm-hmm.
You made some choices, right? You talked about another brother, I think you said was the CEO of, what was it? Boeing. Came from the same place, right?
Right down the street from me.
Right? So we all come from the same places. We all want the same thing. We want that love and want that connection. What choice are you going to make? What choice y'all going to make? Ooh. I hope it's the right one.
Ooh. Amen. All right. Well, on that, we going to leave it right there.
Sure.
We're going to leave it right there. And we want to thank everybody who tuned in. We want to continue to ask you to follow, like, share, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hit that thumbs up button as well, because that helps our algorithm, So also, we have a new segment we're going to be starting. Not going to be starting, we are going to start. It's called Ask a Brother. Okay? So what we want you to do is you can email us. I'm going to put the banner up for you. Email us. That's our email at the bottom. ltbspodcast@yahoo.com. That's our email. If you have a question, conundrum, get it. You want to get it off your chest. I know we've done 3 episodes. This is our 3rd episode, and you don't want to just constantly keep hearing from us. We want to hear from y'all too. We want to hear from you. So if you got something you want to ask the brothers that maybe the brothers can answer for you, send us an email, and we will do our best to get that answered for you. Okay? If you send us something and we don't get to it right away, it's probably because we got to do a little research first. Okay? So, but we will try to respond to every email that we get. All right? So, email us again, ltbspodcast@yahoo.com. All right? And on that note, we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Take care.
Holla at you.
Yep.
Let the brother speak.